Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the daily market updates. So in part 2, we will be analyzing some price action movements and also understand the latest sentiment from the latest events that was happening for the last 24 hours. Okay, so by now everyone is aware that the US dollar has been bearish for since the 25th of May, and for the last couple of days from the 5th of June until the 8th of June, which was last Friday, followed up by this last few days ago, Monday and Tuesday. The US dollar was consolidating in a range. However, on Tuesday, we can see that the US dollar continued to weaken. Okay, so it broke through the support level at 96.50, and of course continued to go down all the way yesterday, leading up towards the FOMC statement. So for the US dollar yesterday, you can see the first big move down was at 800 hours plus 5 if you're in Singapore or Malaysia. This will be 1300 hours, which is at 1 p.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time. Okay, before that you can see that the US dollar was very quiet throughout the end of Tuesday evening all the way until Wednesday morning. Okay, so again, we did this analysis on a daily basis, and I believe last week I was also looking at the US dollar index on a longer time frame daily, and at that point of time I believe we were forecasting it to go at least to the 95.90 levels, okay, which it touched yesterday. And of course, back to the H1 charts to understand it in more detail. Okay, yesterday again, the US dollar started to weaken at 1 p.m. over here. Okay, so 1 p.m. started to weaken, and it weakened all the way until this point here at about 1400, which is plus 5 is 19, 7 p.m. It will found some support at 95.95 levels, and it just recovered a little bit. However, as it was leading up towards the FOMC statement at 2 a.m. So again, when you put your cursor or mouse over here, you can see the time below, 2100. Okay, so 2100, if you're in Malaysia or Singapore, you need to add 5 hours to this. It will be 21 plus 5 will be 26. Okay, so 26 minus 24 will be 2. So at 2 a.m. yesterday, as the statement was released, you can see that the US dollar was fluctuating down and then up again, and then came back to rest on this support level. Okay, this previous support level. Of course, leading up towards the 2 a.m. announcement, during yesterday's part 2 technical analysis video, I also mentioned that watch out for 7 to 9 p.m. and also at about 12 p.m. 1 to 2 hours before the announcement, 12 a.m. 1 to 2 hours before the 2 a.m. announcement. You should also see clearer chart patterns and movements of the currencies and also commodities. Okay, so the immediate impact of the statement was, of course, it weakened the US dollar, as the statement mentioned that interest rates will be remaining low for the next 1 to 2 years. But you got to keep in mind that number one, that was the statement. Interest rates are going to be low, so theoretically, if interest rates remain low, the US dollar should remain weak, or theoretically the US dollar should remain weak. Okay, but bear in mind that the US dollar has already been weakening or has been bearish for a long time. Okay, if you look back at the H4 charts, it has been bearish since the 25th of May, from a high of 99.96, okay, all the way to the current low. So to a large extent, markets has already factored in the idea that interest rates will remain low for the next 1 to 2 years or so, okay, for the middle to long term. So be very careful about selling the US dollar on that statement or on that news. As you can see, the US dollar is beginning to stabilize and have some recovery. So that is the message. Don't blindly trade based on comments or news or results. You got to understand the statement, understand what is the theory of the statement, and have a look at the currency or the instrument that you are trading to factor in whether the prices has already factored in the news. And in fact, once they have factored in the news, you will likely see that it's going to move opposite of the theory. Okay, so be very careful of that. So again, yesterday at about 800 hours plus 5, this is 8 plus 5 is 13 at 1 p.m. US dollar weakens, and you can see that over here on the UK pound. UK pound again, we were looking at it on a daily basis. That is why it's pretty important to follow and watch the videos on a daily basis, so that you can understand the movement or the sentiment of the currencies or the instruments you are trading, whether it was bullish, okay, previously it was bullish, okay, followed by a range, and then followed by another break up. So you can say that similar to the US dollar, for the US dollar, it has been bearish for a while and it has recovered. And for major currencies such as the UK pound, it has been bullish against the US dollar. And after yesterday's announcement, you can see that over here, this is the one, okay, leading up to the announcement, the UK pound was still bullish, moving up about 87 pips, 88 pips against the US dollar. However, leading up towards the announcement over here, this is the one, 1600 plus 5 is 21, 9 p.m. local Singapore time. The UK pound starting to weaken against the US dollar. Okay, so the final push up was during the announcement. I can even push it down to 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes, we can see that over here. Okay, over here. So again, as the announcement was made here, over here, sorry, 2100, as the announcement was made, it went up about 45 pips. However, immediately, not long after, it came back down 53 pips and moved further down. Okay, tested the support and broke through. And ever since that announcement, like I mentioned, be very careful about trading based on results and statement. The statement that interest rates will remain low has already been factored in for quite some time on the US dollar. And of course, yesterday we started to see the US dollar strengthening and also the UK pound starting to weaken. Okay, so you can see that the UK pound has started to weaken after the statement was released at about 2230 plus 5, 2730 at about 3:30 3:30 a.m. this morning. The UK pound has started to weaken about 46 pips, and at this morning's Asian trading session is weakening another 31 pips, and just as we are speaking, it continues to weaken another 72 pips. Okay, is that a big move? Yes, it is. Okay, so it is a significant move from after the statement was announced and followed up by this morning's Asian trading session. Okay, so be cautious about that. Similar to the euro dollar, after coming down and consolidating for a few days, was on a bullish run for the last 2 days, and yesterday it was also moving up about 54 pips, and as the announcement was made, it moved up a little bit and then pulled back. Okay, so as of yesterday's announcement until now, it has pulled back about 77 pips. Okay, so again, that is one of the ways we correlate how news impacts currency movements. Okay, but again, be very careful about trading based on the result or the news or the comments, and trading based or blindly trading against blindly trading according to the theory of the news. Okay, so moving on to gold prices, we can also see that gold prices, this is a H1 chart, it has been moving up nicely ever since it touched a low of 1,670 US dollars on last Friday, after the non-farm payrolls data came in better than expected, with 2.7 million jobs created versus 7 million job loss forecast. Okay, so this has in other words, the jobs data shows that the US economy or labor market is improving, and to a certain extent, the demand for safe havens such as gold dropped. Okay, however, as you can see, after last Friday's drop, as early as Monday, Tuesday, the gold prices are starting to move on a starting to move on a bullish trend. Okay, and most of the moves or the key moves up was happening at this one is 1000 hours plus 5:15, which is at 3 p.m. one of the time zones mentioned, 2 to 4 p.m. and also over here another one 1500 plus 5 is 2000 hours, which is 8 p.m. Okay, this is the second time zone, 7 to 9 p.m. So as you can see, most of these significant moves are happening during those time zones. Okay, and of course this was yesterday, moving up at about 7 p.m. in the evening over here, this candle, and also in the morning at about 8 a.m. okay, local Singapore time. It pulled back a few hours before the FOMC statement announcement, pulled back about $19 before moving up again once the statement was released. Okay, so you can see how markets react before, during and after certain news or comments are announced. So moving on to the US oil prices. US oil prices is still mostly trading in a range. Okay, in a range, so within $39 range, $39.30 on the high side, and on the lower end it is currently at $38 range. Okay, so yeah. So another point to note, if you're trading oil prices, the example that we are giving here of course is on the results. If you look at this crude oil data yesterday at 10:30 p.m., crude oil inventories report came in at 5.7 million barrels of crude oil are in the inventory as of 5th of June. So what this means is market is forecasting a negative 1.8 million drop in inventories. Okay, however the actual numbers came in at positive 5.7 million, which is more than the negative. That is why you see it in red. Theoretically it would mean that there are more supplies of crude oil compared to the market forecast. Okay, so again, if there's more supply of crude oil, theoretically oil prices should be dropping. Okay, so if you watch this result 5.7 million and you chose to sell the oil prices, again you will be caught out. Okay, because oil prices yesterday moved up. Okay, so when the news was announced was about was around here. Okay, so around here 1700 coming to 10:30. So let us have a look at the 30 minutes chart. So in the 30 minutes chart we can see that 10:30 is here. Okay, so as the news was announced that there are more supplies of crude oil, or more stockpiles of crude oil, do you see the crude oil prices going down? No. Okay, in fact it didn't break this support, and in fact it continued to move up. And did it move up a lot? Yes, it did. It moved up about $1.92. Okay, so again, be very careful about having news is good, okay, but don't blindly trade with the theory of the news. You got to have a look at the charts again, and yeah, got to be careful of that. Okay, so coming back to this, so that was for crude oil prices. And last but not least, the S&P 500. Again, we can see the S&P 500 has been consolidating at the resistance of 3,231 for 1 day, 2 days, and most of yesterday's movement was towards the downside. Okay, and after the announcement, again it spiked up momentarily, and then after that came back down. Okay, so but again, you need to remember the S&P 500 has been bullish or going up for quite a number of days, and it was time for a retracement or correction. Okay, so those are the events happening today. So again, for today, you will watch out for 2 to 4 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. To analyze, and also preferably if you can anticipate a trade, by all means go ahead and take the trade. Okay, so I hope you guys have a good update and understanding for yesterday's events, and also for what to expect today. Have a good trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.